Donice Brown. I am currently happily married to Curtis Brown. And I also used to be a single mother. I'm originally from Southeast DC, off of Anacostia, across the street from Douglas Road Southeast. I left DC when I was about 10 and a half when my father got married to my stepmother. So I was a MoCo child after that. I was raised in a two-parent household. Only thing that was bad was I lost my mom at a young age. My mom was my best friend. That was very traumatic to me. And sometimes I still think about her, or I hear a certain song and I cry or something like that. She was my best friend. I was kind of a loner and a quiet child, hard to believe, but I was. And she used to make me smile. And she used to bake everything from scratch and make clothes from scratch. So she was a beast. I think the other traumatic thing was for me till this day. I think I'm still mad at my stepmom. She knows that I still bring it up once in a while. I came home from school and she got rid of anything that had to do with my mother. I feel like you had no right, my father had no right to do that without asking me first, because I was her child. I felt like you should have said, you know what? Check with Tondalia and see if she might want some stuff that used to belong to Vivian. That scarred me, and it still hurts me because of certain things I wanted that belonged to my mother, and I remember. And I'm still scarred by that. I got over it a little bit, but I am still scarred by it. You never hear losing a mother. Only blessing that I do that I tell women that lost their mother as an adult, they got to see you grow up. My mother didn't get to see how I turned out, and that hurts my heart too. My two little brothers are so lucky because my father and my mom was some very violent people back in the day when I was little. And my only people that actually saw it was my oldest brother Tony, my next to oldest brother Tony, and my next to oldest sister, may she rest in peace, and me, because my father used to get in fist fights with my sister Nisi. My father used to get in fist fights with my brother Tony. We used to have holes in the walls. I was scared of my parents. I was the good girl. I think the only bad thing I used to do, and I used to get in trouble, was I used to be a tattletale. So I snitch on your ass. And my sister and my brother man, they did some traumatic stuff to me. I mean, in a way, it made me tough. I do love my brother Tony, but I will never let him be around children alone. Hell no. And he is a registered sex offender. But I do speak with my brother Tony, and I do allow him in my life, but just from a distance. I think it started around six, when my mom started to get sick. My mother was a diabetic and she had high blood pressure. So she ended up losing a limb, losing sight in one eye, and she was in and out the hospital. So I think it happened around that time when my mom was not in the house all the time. And the only thing I do remember is my flashback was when my brother did things to me when I was in a tub that I felt was inappropriate, but he would tell me not to tell. I'll talk about it more. I didn't do it when I was younger. I was mad at my father though for a while because he was about to get out of jail or up for probation or something. My brother was in jail, and he wanted my brother to move in with my two little brothers, and I wasn't living there anymore. So I basically told my father what happened, and it believed me enough in it, and I was pissed off. I'm like, why the fuck would I, excuse my language, but why the fuck would I lie about that? And my stepmother, believe it or not, even though we used to bump heads, she believed me more than anybody. My stepmother gave me a hug, and she's like, Tondalia wouldn't make that up. And the only reason I said it that day is because I didn't trust my brother around my two little brothers, our two little brothers, alone. So basically, after that, my father did let him move in with my brothers, but I did warn my two little brothers, because I know he liked touching boys and doing things to boys and girls from his background, and I also just wanted them to be aware of the signs. And I told my father. He finally believed me, but it took him a minute. Once in my early 20s, I told Tara about it later in life, because I had wrote letters to my brothers and my daughter and it was, I was just going through some stress. I know at one it was definitely about a dude. One part was definitely about a dude, and I got the stress of raising a child by yourself, and this stuff was overflowing, and I just wrote goodbye letters to everybody, and I took a bunch of pills. But now it's like my daughter would be so mad at me if I left. There's times when my daughter see me throw knives at dudes. I done fist fought with dudes. I might be yellow, but I ain't scared. I'm going down, you going down with me, shorty. Keep it real. I mean, and I've had black eyes before with fighting dudes before. I don't give a fuck. I wear makeup and put shades on. I'm going back to work the next day. But yeah, I have violent tendencies, and I think it's because of what I saw as a child, but also because I did hold stuff in. And when I get real pissed off, my eyes get watery, and I get violent. You know, but I've calmed down way more than I was when I was young. I don't think that no one ever completely heals. I just feel like it's a rite of passage. Everybody goes through some kind of trauma. Everybody heals in their own way, in their own pace. Tara and I are the most weirdest, closest daughter-mother combination. People think we're sisters at times because we're so close, and we say the most inappropriate shit to each other that no one should not say to their mother. Like, I know about her sex life sometimes more than maybe her exes probably know, because she'll tell me shit sometimes. And I'll be like, what the fuck? But I'm glad she tells me, you know, that means she trusts me. Or she'll just ask my input on relationships or whatever. Sometimes my daughter's even known about some of my sexual innuendos in my past. It's usually after a breakup, not during the relationships though. And my daughter, I warned her about the signs of molestation or sexual assault and stuff like that, and how it runs through the family. So one time someone tried to touch my daughter, and she came to me. I was ready to fuck that family member up. But I told his mother, and she fucked him up. I had to actually get her off of him, because he was bloody. So at least she acknowledged it and believed my daughter. And love you, auntie, because she fucked little cousin up. And he was in junior high school, and Tara was like in elementary. And he tried to do things to Tara. Tara told me, and I was ready to fuck him up. Auntie did it, so boom. So my daughter was always taught to be aware. I wish I was taught the warning signs or the prevention, or maybe nothing would have happened to me. Or maybe I would have shortened it. But I told my daughter what's up. So, nope. The only thing I regret with was, I think sometimes I put my daughter in adult situations or adult conversations that I shouldn't have. But my daughter was like my rock. My daughter was my side dog. My husband and I have the weirdest sense of humor. My husband doesn't drink. My husband doesn't smoke. But we click. My husband and I love to cook. We like to travel. We like to make fun of people, even though it's so not funny all the time. We actually sometimes are very inappropriate about our ways, but we have no filters. I think that's what makes us work, and we have a sense of humor that's very healing to both of us. Talk to someone. It can be a stranger. It ain't gotta be your mom, but talk to somebody. Write your thoughts down. I was queen of writing. I think that helped me too. I always had a diary. In junior high, I had a diary. In high school, I had a diary. Even as an adult, I had a diary. Diaries help too. Because you can look back and go, damn, I was depressed. Why was I crying over this? Like, you got paperwork to show why were you mad and what made you that upset for, and was it really worth it? Reference. My daughter has tendencies like I did when I was little. Like, I was so close to my mom, it was ridiculous. And I felt like I want to be close to my daughter like that if I ever have a child. I want my daughter never to be afraid to tell me anything. And my mother told me that. I'm not healing. I'm better. But if I hear certain songs or I smell a certain smell, like my mom used to bake stuff from scratch, I'm like, oh my God. And my eyes will water up if I smell like some scratch food. Like, that's why I can't stand like store-bought goodies sometimes because it ain't real, you know. But if I smell something from scratch, oh my God, my eyes will water out. Man, I used to miss licking the bowl or the mixing spatula with my mom, and I'd be like, yeah, having this thing, you know. Christmas used to be really hard for me, but I used to keep my spirit up for my daughter. So it's still hard for me, but it's better. I like to think that my mom and my sister smiling down on me. You know, I'm a grandma now. Gotta smile for the kiddos. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter was born 4 days before Christmas, so she's my little Christmas gift.